Well, Julie's got a great piece of wall art that incorporates a little bit of nature. And you can see it right here. It's beautiful. And I know you're going to start us off with a glue resist.
Yes, we're going to do a resist with this, and we're just doing it with regular white glue. And you know, I love taking pictures, and I took the photograph of this red cardinal a couple of winters ago. We actually had snow in Texas, believe it or not.
Snow in
Texas.
Texas.
And I loved it so much, I just wanted to make it into a piece of wall art and a gift for someone. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is I actually printed the photograph out onto some inkjet canvas paper, okay? And now I'm using the white glue, and it's a soft white paintbrush. And I'm very liberally, I'm going to put the white glue right on top
and that
of the
doesn't
photograph.
Smear the photo at all?
It's not going to smear at all. Now, I would definitely wait a couple of hours at least, and even overnight if you can, before you start putting the glue on top of the photograph to make sure that that ink really is dry. But the kind of printer that I have, it's not a problem. It is not going to smear.
And I noticed that when you're applying the glue, you're being very careful about staying inside the edges, because again, it comes back to that resist thing, right?
What I want to do is I want to cover up the photograph completely, and I would actually work on it just a little bit more to make sure it's a nice even layer, because we're going to add paint later, and I don't want paint to stay on top of the photograph.
Because the glue is going to protect the photo.
Exactly. Now, after I've done that completely, then I'm going to add glue, and I'm just going to swish the glue, just very randomly, all over the border. And there's no pattern to this at all. You can just do this however you want, and just very quickly all over. And then, of course, we are going to set this aside to dry. Now, Julie, if you would take that.
I will. Thank you very much.
And I'm going to rinse this glue now out of my paintbrush. And on this one, thank you, Julie.
That's one's already dry.
This one is already dried. And now what we're going to do, we're going to cover it with paint.
Okay.
And this is a very gray blue, a wintry blue color. Very appropriate.
It's just an acrylic paint that you can find anywhere.
It's a plain acrylic paint that you can find at any craft store. Now, I'm adding a lot of water to this paint because we're doing a wash, and that's when you add a lot of water to your paint. And I'm just going to start at one end and just go right
because
all the way
regular
across.
acrylic paint, right, would be too thick, and the water makes it thinner and more transparent.
Right. Now, as you can see, I'm even going over the photograph, but as I go over the border, can you see how the areas?
I see those swishes coming right up.
There we go, and that's how we're going to develop the pattern. Now, I won't do the whole thing, but I don't want the paint on top of the photograph, so I'm going to dampen a paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe it off. And remember, the glue has dried on there,
so it's
covered
just like
and
magic.
It's sealed, and there we go. And we'll make sure we do that real, and you can rub on it because the glue is, it's going to protect that photograph. Now, if you'd like to take that, Julie, and pass me the one that's already dry.
And you know, this is something I can imagine that you could do the prep work, and then you could have your kids or something do all the coloring.
Oh my gosh,
because
yes.
they can't mess up in any way because the glue is there to protect everything else underneath.
Right, exactly. Now, we're going to actually attach the canvas, or the print on the canvas to foam board because we want to put it on the wall.
Okay.
And I'm using double stick tape on the back of the canvas. And I've cut the board probably about 3/4 of an inch smaller on all sides for the photograph. And then we're going to wrap it around the front. And then, of course, we'll adhere it onto the bottom. Now, when we're doing the corners, what I'm going to do is, it's kind of like wrapping a parcel. I'm just going to snip that in, and then of course we're going to wrap it around, and then we can tuck these little corners in to make it look nice and neat when it's finished.
Yeah, and one of
now,
the things...
I have one over there, Julie, and what I'd like to show is this is a different texture. And instead of putting the glue on for the resist with the paintbrush, I actually used a damp sea sponge, and I just sponged the glue all over, and you see what a difference it makes. So I thought that was really cool, and I just wanted to share that with you and our viewers. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to add our little title, Winter Wonderland. And again, I did this on the computer and printed it out, but I'm going to jazz it up a little bit and add some glitter. So I'll just set that over there. And the way I like to add the glitter is I'm going to use, again, a glue. And this is a little bit, has a little bit more consistency than the glue I used originally to make the resist.
Because you need a nice strong glue when you're working with glitter.
And I'm going to just put a dab here like that, and we'll just run the edge of the paper right through.
What a clever way to put the glue on.
There we go. And then I'm going to just
run
dab
the edge
it
right
into
through
a
again.
pile of glitter. Now, of course, I do that on all 4 sides,
right?
But you get a really cool effect, and it kind of looks like glittery
and
snow.
then you would add your natural elements, of course, your twig and all your little bits, and you can see it'll look just like this.
And just don't forget to use a precision glue to add those natural elements, the twigs and the pine cones.
Awesome. We'll be right back.